Hey guys, so in the previous session we saw that we had a problem with duplicate tags, and when we create a new post, uh, let's say new day, and we use existing tags like Elixir, um, and what else do we have? Ecto, right? So when we do that and save this data, if we look at the database, we see that it has inserted another Ecto tag with ID 12 and another Elixir tag with ID 13, right? So that's a problem. We can't have duplicate tags. And our database should actually have stopped this from happening. So, which means we don't have this table set up properly, right? So let's fix that. And to fix that, what we need to do is we need to go to the now here, since I'm the only developer working on this, I can just go into the tags migration and change it. But if you're working with a team of people and you've pushed your code and it's merged, you shouldn't be editing your migrations. So you should be creating a new migration. Oh, you know what? Let's actually create a new migration because that's a good thing to do anyway. So generate migration, add unique index to tags, right? So what we need to do is we need to add a unique index to tags name, because the tags are supposed to be unique on the name. You're not supposed to have more than one tag with the same name. So while this is generating the migration, let's look at how to set it up. So we can say add index, or we can look at the documentation of the index method, but I think it should be tags name and then unique true, right? Something like that. I'll probably create index. So we probably have another place where we've created an index. Is this okay? Let's see. Let's do one last thing here. So create returns an index that can be given to create or drop, and it takes a name. Let's look at the examples. So it takes a table name as a string, and then the columns on which we need to create the index, and then whether it's unique or not, which is an option. So if you search for unique, that's an option. I think that should be enough for us. Well, we can't just add this index, so we need to add this in a new migration, right? So it is created as a migration called add index, and here we want to create that index. So now if we just run the migration, let's see what happens. I think it's gonna fail because Ecto migrate, because we already have tags with duplicate names, right? So it says could not create unique index because the name Elixir is duplicated, right? This particular tag is duplicated among others. So here you either have to drop the table and recreate it, or delete all the data from the tags, which could be a one-time operation, right? So let's see, execute SQL. Execute is a function. It should be a function. So execute is a function which takes a SQL query, right? So what we want to do is we want to delete all the tags, right? So if you delete all the tags, now that's gonna cause issues. Let's see. So delete from tags, right? So if you delete all the tags, that's going to cause issues because we have foreign keys on posts tags. So what we'll do is we'll set this cascade as true so that it deletes those records in posts tags too. Delete from tags cascade. So let's quickly see. Delete cascade Postgres. I think we have the syntax wrong. So just see delete from cascade. So I think we don't need to say cascade 2. Right. It's still complaining. It says violates foreign key constraint. You know, we could just delete the tags from posts tags. If you really want to delete from, which means, okay, so Postgres suppose cascade with truncate command. So it looks like now truncate is, so delete can be used to delete like specific rows, whereas truncate is like a sledgehammer. It just deletes all the records from the table, resets a few things, but it looks like truncate has the ability to do cascade. So when we say truncate tags, cascade, it's going to truncate tags and all the associated tables which have foreign key references. So that's all good. Now it says truncate cascades to post tags, and then it created the index, right? So all good. Now now that we fix this, let's add a new post. So say hello world 6 this. Right, now there's an error. What does it say? Phoenix HTML may not contain integers. Got invalid entry error. Is undefined. Inspect function inspect Ecto change set inspect is undefined. So let's see, where is this error coming from? So one neat thing you can do is just click on show app frames, and it will show you exactly where the code is in your app, instead of like it showing all the library or framework backtrace. So here it says on form HTML line number 17, and what are we doing here? We've got tags, and tags. So tags, where is this? This is the form. Oh, okay. So this looks like it was triggered because we didn't set the description, and now the value of tags is something strange. Okay, so now that we hit this, let's actually fix this. The reason why we didn't hit this before was probably because we didn't have any errors in our form before. Okay, DB connection is not available. What does that mean? Oh, so let me just restart the server because it's been a while since since we did that. So okay, constraint error when attempting to insert struct tags name index. Okay, so looks like our constraints are working again. Let's look at how that's happening. Go to pSQL, select from tags. We've got the tags, and now it's trying to insert those tags again, and it's failing. Right, so select star from posts. We've got some posts, but when it tries to insert those tags, it's failing. So let's give it some new tags, right? New tags, new Elixir, right? So now it works, okay? But let's fix that one error that we ran into earlier. where we didn't implement edit functionality either, but let's fix this first. So when we try to save this, there are lots of errors. So foo, and okay, so this looks like the previous error we got, right? And it's at form line number 17, okay? And the reason for that, I believe, is because tags is not a proper, I mean, it's not a string. So let's see, let's do an inspect and see what we get here. Okay, so go to the form, right? So this is the post form, and we'll just, instead of text input, we'll just do something else. Comment that out. Well, that's a nice way to comment out stuff. Just say inspect f, and we'll just put this in a tuple, or a list. Anything should work. Let's rerun this. Now it says it's an error while trying to insert it, because we're heading into this unique constraint problem. And the reason for that is because we're trying to, so the reason for that, let's see what the reason for that is, right? So let's go back, look at where we're getting that, and we're getting that in blog line number 60, yeah? Blog line number 60, go to line number 60, okay. So here, when we create a post with duplicate tags, it's gonna fail, because when you try to create a tag with an existing name, now that we have a unique index, it's gonna bark, right? So we can't have this. We can't have create tag. So one way to fix this is we can say, try to be clever and say find or create tag. Okay, so this is not the best solution, by the way, but we'll do it because this is how your mind usually works, as you try to find a clever way to fix it, and we'll see why it's not the best. So we'll go to create tag, and we'll create tag, and we'll duplicate this guy, and we'll say this is find or create tag. Okay, this guy has attributes for name, so we should have a name, and this is we kind of expect attributes to be present. So attributes, and we want name to be present here, and what we want to do here is we want to say find. There should be a get tag. Well, there's a get tag, but there's no get tag by name. So we can say get by tag name as name. And let's run this and see what we get. Okay. So this is something I like to do, is run the code before you actually hit it from the web page. So we found a tag. If you don't find a tag, it's nil. We could have even looked at the documentation, but I'll say tag is that. If tag is present, then return tag. Else create the tag with the attributes. Now create tag. So here, create tag is actually gonna return something of the shape OK tag, whereas here we're just returning a tag. So we should change that so that it returns in the same structure through all the return flows, right? So you shouldn't have functions return different structures based on which path they take, because that's going to make things complex. So we got find and create tag now, which tries to find and create the tag. But there's a problem here. Can you guys see what the problem is? Yeah, you guys can pause the video here and think about the problem in this code, okay? And I'll get back to this in a second, okay? Now this should work, right? So let's resubmit, and now we run into what? No function clause matching that. Okay, so this guy is actually getting, again, if you see, this is really neat, as it says call with these arguments, but attempted function clauses are these. And if you see, this is an atom name, whereas we are expecting a string key. So let's go back and see where we are calling this from. We're calling it from here. So it can be either a key or a string, right? So in cases like those, what we can do is, let's not do string matching here, and we'll say name is attributes name, or attributes name with a string key, right? Find it with an atom key or a string key. That should be good. Okay, now it says tags this is the inspected tags, right? Because that's what we added. And when we say inspect tags, what are we doing here, by the way? Let's go back to the form and take a look at this. So we have inspect, this is form. So this is the whole form. So we don't want the whole form. We want what we are getting from as the input for tags. So input, there's a function called input value, which takes a form and the element of the form, which gives you the actual value that the form sees. And the form sees this. So change set with an update action, and data is tag, and it says valid is true. So what did we submit though? So we submitted this. Let's submit it again. And okay, so again, let's go back, take a step back, and look at the patterns that are being passed. The patterns that are being passed are post, tags is foo, right? And let's go back to the create function in the controller, so which is here, and it's calling the create post, which goes to the blog. And let's go to the blog create post, and it's getting the tags, it's splitting everything. It's not failing on this step, right? We know that. It's failing here because the title is empty, right? So it says can't be blank, and this can't be blank. That's the problem. But when we're doing that, we also have an association on tags, which actually contains a list of tags. And when you try to render that list of tags as an input field value, it fails. So we gotta fix that in the form. So in the form, this guy expects the tags to be a string or something which implements a string, right? So what we can do here is we can create a custom input called tags input, okay? And go to the post view, create a tag input for the form using, well, we know that this is a tags input, so it doesn't have to be we don't have to pass the key because we know it's for tags, right? And let's fix the name there. So by default, what this guy was doing was this guy was using, and again, so let's see what this was before. This before was text input f tags, right? Let's just make this a form so that it's readable. Let's look at the documentation, right? So text input form renders this. And what we can do here is we can actually go to the implementation of text input, right? So go to Phoenix HTML text input. And I want to look at the source of this guy in GitHub. So I'll just say GitHub. And def text input, right? And if you see here, it's going to generic input text. So it's calling some kind of a generic function and sending it the type of the field is probably text, the form, the field, and the options, right? And let's go to generic. So usually what I like to do is just clone the repository. So let's do that. That might take a little bit. Whoa, I didn't know that Phoenix HTML was a separate repo. Oh, yeah. We don't want it to be here. We want it to be in a separate folder. So we'll go there and find text input, which is well, this is the test. We don't want the test. We want the actual code here, right? And this is text input. So it's got to be in Phoenix HTML.ex, right? So let's see, lib Phoenix HTML, Phoenix HTML, text. All right, let's go back here. It's in the form file. It's in the form module. So let's go to the form module and go to text input, right? And that goes to generic input, which does something with options and then uses the tag with input and options, right? And here, if you see, it's taking the options and then it's getting the ID using a helper called input ID, the name in a similar way, and the value using the input value function, right? So what we can do is, since we just want to transform the tag's value, we could just get the value here, right? So we'll just say tags is input value form tags, and then just pass that tag along after converting it to a string, right? So we take the tags, and what we want to do here is we want to convert these tags into a string, right? So what do? We have, okay, so let's go back to the page, and here if you see, I don't see a way to get back the tags just by looking at this. I know we set it to foo, but there's no way of getting back foo back from this change set, right? So let's put a pry here, and we'll try and figure out how we can extract actual value, right? So do another submit, and so we probably didn't save this guy here. So save it. Now it should have hit the breakpoint, and we got the form. And if we say, all right, let's see what the input value of form with tags is, right? So it is this particular struct, which is of no use to us, right? Because there's no way to get back the foo which was entered.
24 hours later.
Hey guys, all right. So after looking through the documentation for a while, I found that Ecto actually has a function which allows us to read the value. So when we said we couldn't do anything with the change set, when I said that, I was wrong. Ecto change sets actually have the values, and you can get the fields value out of the change set by using the get field function. Okay, so quick look at what I changed, what we changed here. Um, we have the form, we're getting the input value for tags. Now that's going to be a list of tags, either a list of tag structs or a list of change sets containing tags. And what we're doing is we're getting that list and then we're mapping it by converting each of those change sets or tags into strings, and then using this tag to string function, and then we're joining it on comma space. And the tag to string function, based on if it is a change set or a tag, converts it into a string. So if it's a tag, getting the string representation of a tag is just tag.name, whereas if it's a change set, to get the value of the name, we are using the function getField tag and the name property. Okay, now with that, we don't have to do any funny data introspection and look at whether we should use params or we should use the source in the change set or the data in the change set, because getField encapsulates all of that for us. So we just use Ecto change set getField to get the data of a field from a change set. Okay, so now with that, we shouldn't have the problem we were having before, which was when we try to create a new post. Let me go to the new post page and say test without a body and 1, 2. Now it says the body is blank and the tags are good, right? So the tags show 1, 2 because when we submit, the tags are getting converted into change sets, and those change sets are getting converted into this string through this function, through this chain. Okay, so now that we fixed that, let's save this, and it's all working, right? All nice. Now let's try to edit this, and when we try to edit this, let's say test updated x 1, 2. Let's add a tag called 3. When we save this, there's no 3, right? The 3 tag isn't being saved because we didn't fix the backend for post update, right? So the title is being updated, the body is being updated, but the tags are not being updated. So let's go to the controller and see what we need to do. So go to the post controller, go to the update function, update action, and what we're doing here is we're getting the blog post, and then we're using the update post function in the blog module to update the blog post, right? So let's go there, and what we want to do here is something similar to what we did with create post, right? So let's copy some stuff from here. So let's copy this code. Let's not worry about duplication for now. And we have tags. We do the same stuff where we get the tags, split on commas and trim it, and then final create those tags. And finally, we should be using put asarc to add the association there. Okay, so with this change it should fix our update code too, right? So let's see, edit 1 to many to many ecto. Okay, so that doesn't work. Did we save this file? Let's do that again. 1 2 3. Okay, so it's not working, right? So let's see, let's trace this. Let's go to the post call. The post call is posting the tags properly, right? So you see the tags are being posted properly, and that's calling this, and there's no update or insert queries going on there, right? Let's see why that is. So when we call post, it's calling the post controller's update action. So let's go back to the controller, blog post controller, and in the controller we are getting the post. We should also make one more change here, which is we need to get the post with tags so that the association is loaded properly. Maybe that was the missing piece. No, that was not the missing piece. So, however, that was missing too, though. So now when we go to blog update post, let's see what's happening here. We got the post, we got the attributes. So I think if you don't change the post, it's not updating it for some reason. So no, that's not it. So we got the post change set, and then we do the put association, and then we do the repo update, right? So what's going on here? It's not saving the new tags. Is it saving the new tags? Let's see. So if we say dance, right? And let's go to the tags, piece equal blogger def, select star from tags, and there's no dance. Why is there no dance? We should be running this code, or maybe the code didn't get recompiled for some reason. I don't know, that shouldn't be a case, but just to be sure, let's do that. Okay, so it wasn't recompiled properly because maybe my editor is not set up properly, but now it's actually running the insert tags. So the way I recompiled it was by running our blog, but we could also run the recompile function. Anyway, so now it's running the insert tags query, right? And let's see, insert tags, and then there's an error. It says attempting to cast or change association tags that was not loaded. Please preload. Okay, so we are loading and we're preloading it, right? Unless the controller was not precompiled too. This is not good. So let's recompile the controller too. And let's resubmit this. That's such a weird thing now. Our associations are working fine, but if you remember, we talked about something which might not be right in the blog module, specifically in the finder create tags. So this function is a problem, and the problem is that it has a race condition.